Welcome inside the Pete Maravich Assembly Center in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Before the Heights, as we get you set for this Tiger Tangle between a couple of top 13 teams in Missouri and LSU. So glad to have you along with four-time NCAA champion Ashley Miles-Grieg. I'm Alex Perlman. Ashley, let's start with LSU. Fourth meet, they still have not registered a win, but really been bit by injuries, including to their star. And everybody would probably say it. Kaya Johnson was LSU, is LSU, and it's something they're going to have to get over this year.
Yeah, it's always unfortunate at the beginning of the year to get hit with that injury bug, but we will not see Kaya Johnson back. And they are in the hunt for that first win, but I'm going to be having my eyes on Haley Bryant and Kai Rivers. They are two of the strong leaders of this team, and just, really looking for their leadership skills to show in action tonight.
And it's a torn Achilles for Kaya, so you mentioned, Ashley, that she won't be back this year. Also dealing with injuries to Olivia Dunn and Bryce Wilson, though those are thought to be shorter term. For Mizzouri, coming off of their best ever season, finished 5th last year nationally. Under Shannon Welker, this team has risen to a point where they can compete for a national championship, and now he tells us it's all about sustaining that type of success.
That's right. They're riding that momentum into this season. They're off to a great start. They would love to get the upset here tonight. They've never won in PMAC, and I'm going to be keeping my eye on Amari Celestine. She's back in the lineup on 3 events. She has the ability to score big, and if she can do her job tonight, it's definitely going to help them maybe get that upset.
Yeah, Mizzouri 0-16, but you mentioned LSU's not going to worry about those injuries. They are going to focus on themselves, though this is a great opportunity coming up for Mizzouri, who is looking to score one of those big signature wins to start out this season. They were able to get by Georgia in pretty easy fashion at home last weekend. And for LSU, trying to get their first win of the year, even though they have put up strong performances, especially against Oklahoma on Monday.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
So we can really take our time on that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Welcome inside the Pete Maravich Assembly Center in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, getting you set for number 12 Missouri, 13th ranked LSU on Before the Heights. Along with four-time NCAA champion Ashley Miles-Grieg, I'm Alex Perlman. So glad to see you again. Ashley, let's start with LSU because, yes, they've had 4 meets this year, including this one. Not a win yet, but they've really been bitten by injuries. Losing their star Kaya Johnson, head coach Jay Clark told us it's akin to the Bulls losing Michael Jordan.
Yeah, big loss for LSU, getting hit with the injury bug early this season. And that comparison, it's fair. It's very critical to the success of this team. But they kind of have to pick up the pieces, regroup, hit the reset button. And tonight I'm going to be keeping my eye on Haley Bryant and Kai Rivers. Those two are going to have to put their leadership skills into action tonight.
Yeah, Jay called Haley the Scotty to Kaya's Jordan. Well, for Mizzouri, this is a team that is coming off of their best finish in program history, 5th nationally last year. Head coach Shannon Welker has this team now with success, but now an opportunity to really build on that coming into this season.
Yeah, and the good thing is they have so much momentum on that success from the previous season, and they've had a great start. But more important than anything is, guess what? Amari Celestine is going to be back in the lineup tonight. She's a superstar. She has high scoring potential. She's going to be on 3 events. She warmed up well, which was one of the things that they were wanting to wait and see, especially on the floor with the endurance factor. So, hey, she's going to help them maybe upset tonight.
Yeah, well, still looking for their first 197 of the year. Mizzouri, more than capable of that, came dangerously close without Celestine in 3 different events last week in a win over Georgia. Also, some potential history on the line. Missouri's got a chance to win in the PMAC for the first time in now 17 tries. Will they do it? You're going to have to stick around and find out as we get you set for Mizzouri and LSU in Baton Rouge, one of the most difficult places to compete in the entire country. Jay Clark and of course, Dee Bro, going back years and years, have launched a marketing campaign to push it to almost 8,000 season tickets sold here in Baton Rouge. Let's toss it to the public address announcer, Mike Smith, for our introductions, and we'll be back in just a few moments.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we kindly ask that you rise. If you're able, remove your hats as we honor America and remember those in our service with the singing of our national anthem, which is performed tonight by the kindergartners from Westdale Heights Academic Magnet School in Baton Rouge. I'm going to let you do the thanking for that national anthem, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, kindergartners.
Esther.
Where you go?
Senior Helen Hu, and graduate student Hannah McCrary. The coaching staff from Mizzouri, the assistant coach is Whitney Snowden, associate head coach is Casey Jo McPherson, and the head coach of the Mizzouri Tigers is Shannon Welker. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the Mizzouri Tigers. gymnast out of Pearland Elite Training Center, a JO National qualifier and world champion, a Ostia Lucan Cup qualifier, and a freshman from Lake Charles, Louisiana, Bryce Wilson. A U.S. Elite National Team member and a JO National champion in her second season as a Tiger from Lee Summit, Missouri, Aaliyah Finnegan. A JO National champion on the uneven bars and the all-around, a sophomore from Warrensburg, Missouri, Alexis Jeffrey. A former elite competitor with Texas Dreams and a member of the SEC All-Freshman team in her first season, now a sophomore from the Big D, KJ Johnson. A former U.S. Elite National Team member and a JO National champion, a level 10 gymnast from Twin City Twisters, a sophomore from Chanhassen, Minnesota, Corey Tatum. This Tiger is an SEC Bowl champion and an All-SEC and SEC freshman team member, a former U.S. Elite National Team member, now a junior from Athens, Georgia, Atlanta Arenas. A former JO National qualifier and now a junior from Mandeville, Louisiana, Sierra Ballard. A former JO National qualifier and a junior from Atlanta, Georgia, Chase Rock. She is one of the top all-around gymnasts in the nation, an All-American on the vault floor and all around. The 2021 National Vault champion and SET champion on vaulting, a junior from Cornelius, North Carolina, Haley Bryant. This Tiger is an All-American on the uneven bars and a former U.S. National Team member, a junior from Hillsdale, New Jersey, Olivia Dunn. This Tiger is a senior from Houston, Texas, Lexi Nibbs. Also a senior from H-Town, Maddie Rao. A former JO National champion and a senior from Detroit, Michigan, High Rivers. A senior from Luling, Louisiana. Please welcome Cameron Ryan. This Tiger is an All-American on uneven bars, a former Elite National Team member, and a senior from Evergreen, Colorado, Alona Shedakova. A former JO National qualifier who trained at Capital Gymnastics Training Center. She owns 2 individual titles on vaulting. She's in her first season as a Tiger, a graduate student from Gainesville, Virginia, Amy Hall. And now, Tiger fans, let's introduce your coaching staff. In her second season as an assistant coach, an NCAA champion, a 2004 Olympian, Courtney McCool Griffith. In his second season as assistant coach, please welcome Garrett Griffith. In her third season as an assistant coach, she is also an NCAA champion and 17-time All-American as an LSU Tiger, Ashley Bugs Nett. And Tiger fans, in his 11th season overall, and third as our head coach, please welcome Jay Clark. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your 2023 Fighting Tigers of LSU.
The stage is set for LSU and Missouri. Top of the hour, head over to SEC Network, where Ashley and I will join you once again. Can't wait. In just a few moments. Welcome inside the Pete Maravich Assembly Center in Baton Rouge, one of the most electric environments in college gymnastics as we get you set for number 12 Mizzouri and 13th ranked LSU. Hi there again, along with four-time NCAA champion Ashley Miles-Greig. I'm Alex Perlman. Let's start with the home Tigers. This year, there's going to be their fourth meet, still looking for their first win, but they've really had injury issues, losing Kaya Johnson. Head coach Jay Clark told us that's the same as the Bulls losing Michael Jordan.
Yeah, and a fair comparison there. It's part of that 1-2 punch with somebody I'm going to be keeping my eye on tonight, Haley Bryant, along with Kai Rivers. They've kind of had to hit the reset, and we're going to be looking for their leadership in action tonight for this LSU team.
We know that injuries are not going to be an excuse for LSU, but Mizzouri is getting Amari Celestine back on 3 different events, and they could be primed for a big upset. 0-16 inside the PMAC. We might see history tonight.
Yeah, that would be so much fun to come in here and see that. Amari Celestine is definitely a big scorer, a superstar, and if she can get the numbers that we've seen her do in the past, it's going to be close.
To the first rotation, LSU begins on vault, where they're coming off of a season-high 49-3-2-5 against Oklahoma on Monday. Head coach Jay Clark was so impressed with his team, the grit that they showed against a team like Oklahoma, barely falling 197-6 to 197-4-5 without the likes of Kaya Johnson, Bryce Wilson, and Olivia Dunn are out as well. Elena Arenas, the junior from Athens, Georgia, to set the tone now for LSU, had a 9.775 in the leadoff spot last week.
And huge Yurchenko full to start off. That's a 9.95 start value. So if she was perfect, that would be the highest that she could score on that vault.
6 gymnasts go per team in each rotation. The 5 best scores count. So as we get further and further along, remember the lowest is dropped. It is Olympic order for LSU. They're the home team. Vault, bars, beam, and floor is their order. It's the exact opposite for the visiting Mizzouri Tigers as they begin on bars with Sienna Schreiber. A 49-3-2-5 last week for the Tigers. That was a 7/10 improvement from their first meet. This was their weakest event last year.
Yeah, weakest event last year, but they've got about 7 or 8 deep routines and options and some dynamic bar workers. And so far this routine flowing nicely in that leadoff spot, just the dismount, double layout. Takes a little bit of a hop, but clean routine.
Looking to bounce back after a 9.15 in their opening meet for Sienna. Had a 9.85 last week and trying to keep that tone going. So following up Elena Arenas' 9.825, Alona Shenikova.
Yeah, what the judges are looking for on vault, obviously the start value, execution, and landings. All that plays into the mix. They want to get good height and distance. You want to see that body position in the air. And what we're going to see from Alona is a Yurchenko 1.5 twist.
10-0 start value for the senior from Evergreen, Colorado. There are 4 of them in the lineup for Jay Clark on vault.
And very, very good vault. Nice distance, nice height, good position. Just the big step forward. Look for her to hone in and try to find that landing a little more as the season progresses. Points of emphasis on the uneven bars, handstands, releases, dismounts. Look, you'll hear coaches talk about it. It's a handstands and landings game on the uneven bars. They want to be in a good position on top. They want to nail that dismount, and they want to do big release moves and combinations.
Addison Lawrence following up Sienna Schreiber's 9.825. Same score for Arenas and Schreiber to begin the meet. We expect this one to be dangerously close. 2 teams that are separated by just 1 spot in the ranking. And with Amari Celestine back in the lineup on 3 events for Mizzouri, expect their scores to be climbing into the 197s for the first time this year.
In very, very clean routine from Addison here. Does a blind change. Blind landing, double tuck, and just the slightest step forward. Blind landing, stepping forward, much better than stepping back. So I think that's going to be a good progression in the scoring for Mizzouri to open up on bars.
And what a test for Mizzouri and for the freshman from Olathe, Kansas. Addison Lawrence has not competed in this type of environment all year. Chase Brock, the junior, last week on Monday did a 9.8. Yurchenko 1.5 for the first time since she was 11 or 12. LSU's going to have to, answer some questions when you're talking about no Kaya Johnson in the lineup anymore.
And look, she's honed in on that. Obviously, she's worked very hard to put that 10-0 start value, 1.5 back in this lineup, and does a good job. Again, over-rotated, doesn't quite find the landing, but she does have good position, gets good height, and that'll be a good score.
Trying to follow up Ilona Shenikova's 9.875. Lowest score for LSU at the moment is Arenas' 9.825 in the leadoff spot. And here's our first look at Amari Celestine, the sophomore making her season debut. She was out with an illness the first 2 meets, but last year she was one of the most exciting freshmen in the entire country.
And I watched her warm up, and she is dynamic as dynamic can be. High flying, very aggressive bar worker, good form. Shapash into a pat salto, pirouette transition, immediate soul circle to the high bar. Maybe a little deduction there. She stepped over to the side to square herself up here. Just the dismount and nails the landing. Last thing the judges see. Great routine. Let's take another look at that. Really, really does a good job here on this half pirouette. Soul circle around. You see she takes that little side step. That's going to be a little bit of a deduction. Hits that handstand very nicely. Good position on that hecked front pike half. Unique dismount. Missouri's got several unique dismounts in their bar lineup. We'll see another one a little later.
A 9.85 just came in for Chase Brock on vault for LSU, and now KJ Johnson, 9.875 on Monday against Oklahoma.
And she's got a textbook Yurchenko full there. She just nails that. She gets great height. When she finds the landing, she's one of those Yurchenko fulls that has an opportunity to be perfect, a 9.95. We'll see here, look at this block she gets. Good position, legs glued together, finds the landing. You see the two lines there. Those are new. It's directional to make sure that they're nice and square.
Maybe what KJ lacks in terms of the start value, she can make up for in execution. Really strong bars lineup from Missouri. They are starting to hit their stride here in the early part of this season. A couple of 9.85s after Sienna Schreiber's 9.825 in the leadoff spot. Elisa Sherameta, the University of Illinois Chicago transfer who came to Missouri after that program was unfortunately cut.
And she has a beautiful release move there. Comes way above the level of the bar on that Jaeger. And here's another one of those unique dismounts that you don't see a lot in college gymnastics. A front 1.5, and again, finds that landing. In Missouri, rocking and rolling over on bars, Alex.
Elisa just floats through the air, doesn't she, on that dismount?
Take another look at this dismount. Does the blind, nice position, 1.5 twist, finds the landing. Amazing. I like those unique skills in college gymnastics. You're starting to see more and more of that.
I'm right there with you. Jocelyn Moore and Helen Hu still to go on bars for Missouri. Potential for huge scores. Aaliyah Finnegan following up KJ Johnson's 9.9.
Beautiful vault. Does the Yurchenko entry, round off onto the horse, half turn onto the vault, front pike off, blind landing, or it's not blind, but she had that momentum going forward. So good execution. LSU really needing to find some more of those landings on vault.
Still nothing below a 9.825 in Baton Rouge. In rotation one for LSU. And now Elisa Sherameta posting the third straight 9.85 for Missouri. Extremely strong. Might even be better than what they had last week with the 49.325. And Jocelyn Moore now back in the bars lineup after she wasn't really a mainstay last year. Shannon Welker excited to have her in there this season.
Yeah, these athletes work really hard in the offseason in the summer to really come back and hone in on those skills and earn spots in the lineup. And it's good to see her. Look at this dismount. It's huge. Half in, half out. I'm going to give that just a little shuffle on the landing. But much cleaner landings we're seeing on bars from Missouri than over on vault right now.
Here's our first look at Haley Bryant, one of three that are competing the all-around for LSU, doing all 4 events. Bryant, the 2021 NCAA vault champion, already 4 perfect 10s in this event in her career.
And you're going to see why she's a vault national champion on this textbook front pike half. Look at how amazing this vault is.
Oh!
No words. No words. That is almost perfect. I didn't see any deductions on that vault. That is a
Where do you
textbook
take
vault.
off of that?
I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Look at this block. She's real low in a good position, legs glued together. She flares it out and just like drops down from the sky. It's almost laid out.
That might be her 5th.
Unbelievable.
Haley Bryant's already an 8-time All-American. Her fellow teammates are calling for the 10, and she got it. The anchor spot for LSU is a Haley Bryant 10.
Doesn't get any better than that, folks.
This is what Friday Night Heights on SEC Network is all about, right here.
Every single one of those 10s is a gift, and you have to enjoy it because they don't come very often.
And it caps off a 49.475 beginning for LSU on vault. They'll drop Elena Arenas' 9.825. But talk about a perfect 10. Helen Hu is capable of one on bars.
She sure is, and you're going to see why. Oh! She came in. She was a little far away on that first release move, which really messed with the timing on that pack salto down to the low bar. I mean, when you couple all that in with the 10 and the crowd noise, you know, she really just needs to get settled in here and finish this off and not give anything else away.
The good news for Mizzouri is that nothing below a 9.825. So this is the score that will be dropped with Helen Hu in the anchor spot. 9.825, 3 9.85s, and a 9.875. That's still a really strong bars rotation, and Mizzouri is right where they need to be after 1.
Yeah, a little bit of a missed opportunity, but good that that came at the end.
Shannon Welker, well, we know that he can get his team to nationals. Can he sustain that success? We'll find out how he is trying to build his program next.
My favorite TV show is Community. My favorite pump-up song is Today I Saw the Whole World by Pierce the Veil. My favorite food is cake or any dessert in general. My most used emoji is definitely the sideways laughing crying emoji.
Good leadoff routine from Sienna Schreiber on the bars for Mizzouri. She really got them off to a great start. They hit those first 5 routines. Gets a really good dismount.
Part of one of the leaders of this program, the best finish in program history last year. 5th in the country. It was their 2nd ever trip to NCAA championships, first under Shannon Welker. A few All-Americans to speak of as well. You talk about this team, and they are poised to continue that success. Jocelyn Moore, a first-team All-American on vault. Sienna Schreiber, second-team All-American on beam and the all-around. And, of course, Amari Celestine. Who could forget her performance on vault and floor in the NCAA championships, and very well deserved for Shannon Welker winning the SEC Coach of the Year. Ashley, this is no doubt a team that is capable of winning a national championship this year. They're just trying to put everything together right now.
Yeah, it's been fun to see the trajectory of this Mizzouri squad. Shannon Welker has done an amazing job, and they've really elevated their standing within the SEC. They want to get to a point where they control their own destiny every single year, and we're seeing the start of that continuation right now.
We already saw one perfect 10 on vault. We might see another because Amari Celestine, last year's national runner-up, about to vault for Mizzouri. The best college gymnastics in the country right here on the ESPN Family Networks. And coming up, well, this trio has 5 perfect 10s already this year. Number 2, Florida, and 11th ranked Alabama, 7:30 Eastern on ESPNU. And then following us, part of our SEC Network Friday Night Heights doubleheader, Arkansas and Auburn.
Yeah, superstars is kind of an understatement for this trio of athletes. I mean, you could put them together and create a 10.0 factory. So always fun to see them compete and see them in action, and it's a treat when you can see them.
Okay, Ashley, time now to look at Embrace the If, brought to you by Regions. Keys to victory for both sides tonight.
Yeah, for Mizzouri, they just need to continue their success on balance beam, and they need to find the landings on vault and clean those up. They're a top beam team in the country, and hopefully we'll get an opportunity to see that. For LSU, they've got the talent. They just need to find an athlete that can replace Kaya Johnson's scoring potential on the balance beam and on the floor exercise.
Certainly no easy task, but LSU is deep, and we have seen that for Jay Clark as they put up a terrific score of 197.45 against Oklahoma on MLK Day Monday right here in Baton Rouge. After one rotation, it's 49.475 for LSU, 49.25 for Mizzouri. This thing is still razor tight. But here's the big question mark for the Mizzouri Tigers. It is vault. Just a 48.85 last week, only one vault higher than 9.825, only 3 10-0 start values. Ashley, it really comes down to execution for this team. But Amari Celestine back in vault is going to help them for sure.
It's going to help them tremendously, and hopefully they put in that work in practice and really honed in on those position on some of those 9.95 vaults to maximize their scoring potential in the front half of this lineup.
Addison Lawrence will begin a 9.575 in her first collegiate vault, but she was the Mizzouri vault champion last year. Nailed her bars routine. What does she have for us in vault?
Yurchenko full. A little bit of position in the air, doesn't quite get the height that we saw on some of LSU's full, but that's a good lead off. It's definitely cleaner than last week.
And so now LSU to bars in rotation number 2. They had a 49.45 on Monday, which tied with floor with their highest rotation score. This is head coach Jay Clark's event. He's coached 9 NCAA bars champions, and they'll lead off with Alexis Jeffrey, who transferred in from UCLA last year.
And she's in this leadoff spot, replacing Kaya Johnson, just because she's so consistent and usually lands well. Again, on bars, it's a handstand and landings game. Nice combination there. Pack salto, immediate pirouette. Really, really key and important to get the rotation off to a solid start with that leadoff competitor. Just the dismount. Huge full twisting, double back, and finds the landing. That's stick number 1 for LSU on the bars. Look at the stick crown, good job. Looking at the dismount again, kind of half in, half out. She really breaks that down and shows off that skill, has really good position, and comes away with a good landing.
The coaching staff was really deciding, do I go with Alex Jeffrey? Do I go with Ashley Cowan in that first spot? Jay Clark very clearly made the right decision. Now Hannah McCrary, the grad student from Tennessee, a 9.725 last week.
Love to see those averages come up for them on this event. Very good Yurchenko full. Has a little bit of a closed position in the air, but other than that, pretty good.
And remember, each team can drop 1 score. The lowest goes away, the highest 5 counts. Mizzouri has some work to do. They need to make up 2 1/4 tenths at the moment. Addison Lawrence's first score on vault for Mizzouri was a 9.75. Alexis Jeffrey was a 9.925. Already really gaining in the leadoff spot for LSU. Arenas matched her career high with a 9.875 on Monday, and that ignited a run of 5 straight scores of 9.875 or better to close out the rotation for the Tigers.
And this has the makings of a really good bar rotation. Look at that handstand. Shows that off. Huge Tkachev, immediate pack salto. A little bit of leg separation on that, but the judges do sit on the side.
A little harder for them to see that, right, Ashley?
Yes, it is. It's to their advantage. Let's see if she can get this landing on her double layout. Just the slightest little hop back. That'll be a small deduction, but LSU looking good on bars.
You know, I feel like LSU was really energized against Oklahoma. Their first home meet, they packed this place, 12,000 plus. And I feel like after the injuries at Kentucky, it just got them rolling again, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. They had a rough 48 hours in a quick turnaround. And Jay described that loss against the defending national champion as almost feeling like a win.
Sienna Schreiber, the SEC Coast Specialist of the Year.
Nice Yurchenko full. Just the landing. You see, she had a little bit of a deep squat there. So again, just the landings on these Mizzouri vaults are really what's giving some tenths away. But I do see improvements from previous weeks.
And just a 9.75 and a 9.775 at the moment for Mizzouri, looking to drop that lowest score again. Tori Tatum to follow up Elena Arenas' 9.85 on bars. Tatum, the sophomore from Chanhassen, Minnesota, the home of Paisley Park, so it is no surprise that she chose a team that wears purple.
How appropriate. She gets right into it. Immediate pack salto after that first release move. And really flowing through this routine nicely. Hits that handstand. Those feet snap together to really show that off. And that's how you stick, folks. That is a stuck landing, no question about it, and good job from Tori.
There are no tenths being given away in Baton Rouge by LSU tonight.
No, they are finding those landings on bars. Good handstand there, really shows it off. Gets really good height, good distance, spots it. And great. I mean, when you stick, it's no deduction. Small step or a hop, it can be, you know, a tenth or less, and then it just kind of grows from there.
Grace Ann Davis this year is upgraded to a Yurchenko 1.5, a 10-0 start value, the first one that we're going to see. Mizzouri really needs this one.
Yes, and she really pops. Again, like Yurchenko 1.5, good position, good direction. She's within those lines, but it's a blind landing, and whenever you step back on a blind landing, that's a good indication to the judges that it was a little under-rotated. So, again, good 10.0 start value, but she'll want to find a better landing to get the big scores.
And that follows up Sienna Schreiber's 9.8, which is the highest score at the moment for Mizzouri on vault. Look at those scores, huge on bars for LSU. Right now dropping the 9.85 from Arenas. Aaliyah Finnegan, 9.925 on Monday.
Yeah, watch this release move. She does a toe-on, toe-off handstand to a beautiful, look at that, Delchev, wow. I think that's the only Delchev in the pike position that's in college gymnastics. On that handstand, it will be a little bit of a deduction because she had the arch back, and I would say she was slightly off on that overshoot. But really continuing to work through this routine.
Aaliyah trying to make a name of her own. Everybody knows her sister, Sarah, and Finnegan nails the dismount.
Arabian double front, blind landing, nails it. Take another look at this Delchev. It's just beautiful. Good position, good height. Really nails that release move. I love it.
The scores are steadily increasing for Mizzouri on vault, going from 9.75, building all the way to a 9.825 last routine for Grace Ann Davis. But here is where Amari Celestine truly shines. The national runner-up on vault last year, and she is capable of matching Haley Bryant's 10 that we saw in the first rotation for LSU.
Big benefit to have her back. And it looks like she might have tweaked something there. We'll see what they discuss.
Celestine missed the first two meets. Remember, she was out with an illness.
And I wonder if, to me, my initial thought before she looked like she might have tweaked something was that maybe her run was off. These athletes practice these runs and entries for their vaults. They have the tape measure there to the side that you see. And it's consistent. It's the same every single time. So she can restart because she did not touch the equipment.
And so, try number 2 now for Amari Celestine.
A little off on that, you could tell. Off center, but good first vault for her. 10.0, yeah, she was a little off balance on that. See, she's off to the side there. The direction of the vault is going outside of those lines, so the judges are going to be able to tell with where she landed, but good job for her. It shows her experience, you know, keeping her composure.
Ashley, how tough is that to reset
Very.
so quickly?
Very, on vault like that, she did a good job.
Alona Shenikova now. 9.85 is the score for Aaliyah Finnegan. That can be dropped along with Elena Arenas' 9.85. One of those could go away if Shenikova and Bryant can hit in the final two routines on bars.
Beautiful double layout. Does kind of a close, open, close, pike down, and just the step forward, but the release moves, the combination, the handstands, she hit all those very nicely.
Shenikova was an All-American on bars in 2021. Celestine's vault goes down as a 9.775, so the pressure is now really on Jocelyn Moore. A 9.75 is what is going away, but right now Mizzouri is counting two scores below 9.8.
That's not what you need to see in PMAC, but this vault right here can be big. Yurchenko 1.5. She has one of the most beautiful, technically, Yurchenko 1.5s, because she spots it and then at the full, and then she opens up the half. That helps her to find the landing very consistently.
And so that should be better than a 9.8. Should be able to keep that score and see what it builds Missouri's rotation final to. Here's Haley Bryant again. Fresh off of her 10.0 on vault, the fifth one of her career. She had a 9.9 in the anchor spot on Monday against Oklahoma. The only deduction the judges found was a saved handstand. Everything else pretty perfect.
And first handstand, perfect on this routine. Very, very nice straddle Jaeger.
It was
again,
right there.
Within that 10 degrees, so. Double front with a half. See if she can spot the landing. She is on fire tonight. Haley Bryant is feeling it.
She's putting pressure on the judges right now.
Absolutely. That routine was beautiful. Look at this landing. She adds the half twist because it makes it easier to spot that landing, and she just about gets that every single time. Stick crown again for Haley.
This might be how LSU survives with life after Kaya. They've relied on Haley Bryant her entire career, gonna have to do it again. Back here at LSU, Haley Bryant already with a perfect 10. Sixth one of her career on vault as she threw it down. Also with a 9.9 as she competes in all around. She is absolutely filling in and filling the void of Kaya Johnson, who is impossible to truly replace, but she is out for the season with a torn Achilles. Had surgery on Tuesday. Hopefully we see Olivia Dunn and Bryce Wilson back a little bit sooner, because those are more short-term injuries. Hi there again, Alex and Ashley with you. And Ashley, I don't know how you truly replace a gymnast like Haley Bryant, who head coach Jay Clark likened to losing for the Bulls like a Michael Jordan. But Scottie Pippen has definitely filled in admirably in the place of Haley Bryant.
Yeah, and it's like they were that 1-2 punch. I mean, how many times did we see vault and floor, Kaya, Haley, you know, just huge scores. We just saw her score a 10 tonight, but they've really done a good job of regrouping. They showed against Oklahoma that they're already up to the test. I mean, they knew that they were going to be at a bit of a deficit, and they just really need to be at their best every single week in order to stay competitive. And boy, do they look competitive. I mean, I've been impressed with their energy, with the leadership of Haley Bryant. We're going to see Kai Rivers a little bit later on balance beam. And Jay called Kai Rivers, he said that she's the alpha of, you know, leadership personality. So, yeah, it's been fun to see.
All right, third rotation is coming up, and we can't wait to see what LSU is capable of on beam. Mizzouri will be on floor. They're trying to make up a 6/10 differential. Can they do it? Well, we'll find out next. Sunday right here on the SEC Network. It's a women's basketball doubleheader. Kentucky takes on Mississippi State. That's at 1 Eastern. And then Texas A&M hosts Georgia. 3 o'clock, both games also available on the ESPN app. And coming up after us, the second half of our Friday Night Heights doubleheader. There is the Olympic all-around champion, Suni Lee. She's already posted 1 perfect 10 this year. Can't wait for that one at Neville Arena as Arkansas faces Auburn. Well, LSU came out with a vengeance, something to prove here at home in their SEC home opener, already led by over 2/10. They extended that lead, Ashley, with a tremendous bars lineup, and Alexis Jeffrey, just in the leadoff spot, was the highlight for the Tigers.
For sure. Whenever you can score 9-9-2-5 on your leadoff bar routine, you're doing something right. They've got depth there, and it showed.
LSU had a season-high 49-2-2-5 last week on beam as Kai Rivers starts it back off for the Tigers, trying to hold on to this huge lead over Mizzouri of 6/10. Though Mizzouri is excellent on floor, they could potentially make up some room here. Kai Rivers begins her only event. She was inserted into the beam lineup last February. But Rivers is someone that wants to do everything, but has had such a rash of injuries. Jay listed them for us. Torn Achilles, reconstructed ankle, torn labrum, torn rotator cuff. Not many have been through that in their entire lives, let alone in their first 21, 22 years of life.
Yeah, I mean, that's a long laundry list. And just to see her out here in this leadoff spot on balance beam, you know, Jay Clark says that Kai she has the perfect mental makeup for this spot. You were talking during it, but her series, she was a little off. But that's that experience. Those micro or fixes in the middle of skills. That's what you want to see in this leadoff position. Oh, very, very uncharacteristic to see her come off in that leadoff spot.
I remember Kai is taking over for Christina Desiderio. That was her spot for years, and it was like a guaranteed hit for LSU, and now they're kind of learning what life without Christina is like as well on beam.
Yeah, but she didn't give anything away on that dismount, though. She was just off from the very beginning. I saw her feet move a little bit. Shoulders were not square. Just kind of lost sight of the beam. So unfortunate start for LSU. Over on floor, these are what the judges are looking for: the difficulty, the presentation in landings. Landings need to be clean, and they need to be inbound in those 4 little lines there. You don't want them stepping over. In terms of difficulty, even as a new gymnastics fan, you'll be able to tell what routines and what passes have the big skills in them.
Siena and Mizzouri built off of a 49-2 in their season opener against Illinois on floor to a 49-4-2-5 last week against Georgia. 3 scores of 9-9 or better, and that includes Sienna Schreiber.
She's just so fun to watch on everything because she just brings this energy. She's very bubbly, she's very fun, she's always happy, always smiling and having fun out there. It's hard to compete outside of your home arena on the road. You have to create your own energy as a team. Full front layout. These fans are respectful. They're not gonna, if you can get an away crowd into your routine, then you know you're doing something right. These LSU fans aren't giving anything. They're creating their own energy. I love it.
LSU has opened the door just a bit with Kai Rivers falling off the beam, guaranteed 5/10 off her score. Tigers could, of course, still drop it. And now Schreiber and Mizzouri are going to look to keep the pressure on. There's Kai Rivers in 9-1-7-5. Hoping that goes away. Great start on floor for Mizzou.
Very good start on floor for Mizzouri. Hoping to make up some of that ground. Points of emphasis on balance being what the judges are looking for. Dance and acro skills, connections, balance. Obviously, they need to stay on the equipment. You don't want any balance checks. You want those dance and acro skills to be connected very smoothly without any pauses in between those skills.
Alona Shenikova inserted into the lineup. First beam routine of the year, which also puts her into her first all-around of the season. First time she's competing in that since regionals last year.
So a big test for her, really, being in this situation, to have your solid, normally lead-off in Kai Rivers come off the equipment. They're trusting her here to see what she can do in this second spot and get them back on track. Front aerial, back handspring. She was off there, but again, made the slight adjustment, and that probably won't even be a deduction.
The problem mentally when the leadoff falls off of the beam is that you know you've got to have 5 hits behind her. There is no margin for error right now for LSU.
That's right. Nice side aerial. Slight deduction. She opens up her hips. Gainer full off the side, gets the landing. So good for her, her first time out on balance beam. She fights to stay on to the equipment. She had a great routine and highlighted by the dismount, I think. She really finished it off very nicely, good position. Really doesn't even move those feet at all. It is okay for you to slide the heels together. That's not a deduction. And she gets the stick crown. It's a stick.
Alana Kratzer follows up Sienna Schreiber's excellent 9.85 to begin in the leadoff spot on floor for Mizzouri. This is Kratzer's only event. She matched her career high with a 9.85 last week, and she's a great performer. This is a incredibly fun routine.
Yes, a bit of a specialist. So this is the only event we'll see her in, and we'll see why. You know, they have a lot of fun choreography on this Mizzouri team. Good opening pass, nice double tuck, inbounds, lands with the chest up.
We'll also see 3 two-pass routines. For Shannon Welker, it's kind of a mix, right? You want to make sure you can maximize your scoring potential. They're all 10-0 start values. But you also want to make sure that you keep that wear and tear down to a minimum because it's a long season.
Yes, it is. Week in and week out, and it can be very strategic. But a lot of times when you have these two-pass routines, you pack everything in, sometimes to the dance elements and sometimes combination passes like that. 1.5 twist front layout. So she fulfills all her requirements to get to that 10.0 start value and just tries to execute as cleanly as possible.
Remember that Mizzouri is trying to make up a 6/10 differential going into the third rotation. So keep an eye on the scores as they come in and see where's Mizzouri, where's LSU, are they gaining ground in any of these?
And we were wrong about the 2-pass routine for her. That's 3-pass routine. Does a nice double pike to end it, and she'll actually get bonus for doing that salto double back in the last pass. So good second routine up in this Mizzouri lineup. We'll take another look at the last pass. Double pike. She has the mat for extra cushioning there. That is allowed. Good cleaning, good reaction. She's happy with that. She had fun.
Better than good reaction. I'd call that a great one by far. Shanikova's score for LSU on beam is a 9.7. The door being pushed a little bit further open for Mizzouri now. Sierra Ballard following that up. And then, of course, the 9.175 for Kai Rivers. They're still hoping to drop. Until Monday, Ballard had only competed floor.
Very good acro combination by handspring layout. Full turn, slight balance check. She just needs to settle in. The pressure is on for the rest of this LSU team in this beam lineup. Good 180-degree position on the switch leap half. You'll see some athletes that go even above and beyond that 180. Oh, again, slight balance check. She's rushing through this routine a little bit, just needs to settle in.
This is only the second one of her college career.
What a pressure situation to be in with only your second time up there.
Even at home, the beam doesn't get any bigger. Still only 4 inches wide.
Fights for that dismount on the 1.5. Look at how it's 4 inches, people. I mean, look at the toes, the strength of those toes. I mean, it is one of those things when you're coming up in gymnastics and doing the balance beam, if you don't pay attention, the beam will punish you. I'm just going to put it that way. That's what coaches say a lot of times.
Just a little bit wider, Ashley, than a cell phone. I mean, try walking across your iPhone. Not easy.
Don't miss it.
Elisa Sharameta to follow up Alona Shenikova's, or check that, Alana Kratzer's 9.85 for Mizzouri. Couple of 9.85s now. Exactly the start that they needed. Sharameta, who was a USAG first-team All-American on floor when she was at UIC before she transferred to Mizzou.
She made that opening pass look so easy. It's an E-level skill, a front double twist, and gets good position on her leaps there. Really good dance moves, really good execution. Points her toes every single time it lifts from the floor. More of a classical balletic dance moves. Of course, we see a lot of variety. 1.5 twist, back layout.
And we asked Elisa earlier this week, did she always think she would be able to compete at a program like Mizzouri in the SEC? And she really didn't. I mean, coming out of high school, who would have thought her journey would have taken her to the Southeastern Conference, one of the best college gymnastics leagues in the entire country, coming out of the MIC with Illinois Chicago. It is an incredible story.
And good third pass. And I couldn't believe that when you asked her that question, Alex, that her answer was like, no, I wasn't sure. When you watch the gymnastics that she puts out there, like this last pass, I mean, absolutely. 1.5 twist, front tuck, spots the landing, very clean, doesn't give much away.
Mizzouri is taking advantage of the LSU mistakes on beam. Right now the scores are well higher on that Tiger side of things than what we're seeing for LSU here in this Tiger Tangle. Elena Arenas follows up a 9.65 for LSU. Look at those scores. The way that they started on vault and bars, it looked like maybe LSU would run away with it. Not the case because of beam.
Not at all. Opening up the door a little bit, but we saw her average 9.9. She has the ability to score really big and hopefully can get them back on track, because guess what? Mizzouri is very good on beam.
And now every town is going to matter at this point. Mizzouri is one of the best beam teams in the country, arguably. They have already put up one of the highest scores in the country on beam as well, a 49.525 in their opening meet, which set a new program high. That just shows you the potential that we could see in the fourth rotation for Mizzou.
Yes. Yes. And Elena, I really like the way she works balance beam. She's very calm, she's cool, and she's collected. Switch leap half. Does a good job. Only really one balance check on the flight series so far in this routine. Round off 1.5, and was really going after that landing. Again, it's blind. She took a little bit of a deep squat and was falling backwards. So again, that's a good indication that you were under-rotated, but it was because she was going for the landing.
And this is exactly why LSU needs to score as high as they possibly can on the final 2 beam routines, because of how good that Mizzouri has been all year long on that rotation.
Yeah, they are that good.
Also
on beam,
great on floor, though, and we're looking at these scores. I mean, really steady. They're doing exactly what they need to do. Clean, gymnastics is what Shannon Welker wants to see on floor.
And he said he was anticipating a much better showing tonight on this event, and so far, they're doing it.
Hannah McCrary, a real bright spot on floor against Georgia, taking down the Bulldogs last Friday in Columbia. A 9.925. This is her best event, her highest scoring potential.
Yeah, and you really see why. She's so clean. She really shows off that she got the rotation all the way around on that dance leap combination.
A couple of 9.85s and a 9.825 at the moment for Mizzouri. Nothing above a 9.7 for LSU on beam.
And this is another one of those two-pass routines for Mizzouri. Double pike, lifts the leg up, has a little bit of an over-rotation on that, but you always rather more than less. That'll just be a very small deduction, not much. So overall, two very clean, solid passes.
And there's another hit for Mizzouri as McCrary finishes off her floor routine. And if ever LSU needed a hit and a spectacular score from Haley Bryant, it is right now. There is nothing on that board that is above a 9.75 at the moment. They would be counting a 9.65 from Sierra Ballard because of Kai Rivers' fall in the leadoff spot. Haley Bryant, an All-American on beam in 2021. A perfect 10-0 on vault and 9.9 on bars earlier this evening.
You kind of get the feeling she is just on. You see that laser focus going in as she mounted the balance beam. She warmed up beautifully. Front aerial, immediate back handspring. Does a good job of keeping that combination moving. Switch lead, straddle quarter. There's that required full turn that gives a lot of gymnasts a lot of problems. It seems so simple, but she nails it. So hard, folks. Standing front tuck, and she lands with her chest so high on that.
Haley is absolutely on another level tonight. She doesn't see Kaya going down as adding any pressure because she relishes this role, and you can see she's embracing it.
Absolutely. Oh, another stuck landing. Haley Bryant is just on fire on that Rudy. One laid out position, 1.5, spots it, doesn't move, and just give her the stick crown, please. Watch this, just from a stand. She ends how she starts. Unbelievable. And again, another stuck landing for Haley.
That's going to be the highest score coming up for LSU. And one that they sorely needed. Leading Mizzouri coming into the third rotation by 0.6, which in gymnastics is a healthy advantage. But mistakes by the Tigers on beam have opened everything up in this meet. Jocelyn Moore following up Hannah McCrary's 9.825. And Jocelyn Moore and Amari Celestine going 5.6 in this lineup are the scores that could really top the 9.9s.
Yes. Mizzouri has a great opportunity with two very strong performers left, and big tumbling here. E-level pass, double layout, and I think her heel was maybe on the white line. I don't know if that was out, but it was close.
I did not see a flag come up, and remember, any part of your body can touch the white line. It cannot go over the white line. That's the difference. No deduction for touching the tape.
Oh, and to meet this close, you gotta stay in bounds.
Jocelyn scored 9.9 or better in 10 of her last 15 floor routines. The consistency is remarkable.
Yeah, and I can't say enough how hard it can be competing on floor on the road. These fans are giving them nothing. They're having their own dance party. She was a little Front through to a double pike. Again, fights for the landing. Probably a slight deduction on that, just a little out of control with the arms trying to fight to keep it up. But last week she was short on that last pass. This week she did a little bit more. So let's see if this is a deduction on the double layout. No, she is on the line. That is okay. Not over
that's
it.
by
On the line is okay.
centimeters.
That was super close.
And so we'll wait on Jocelyn Moore's score.
Yeah, I think with a couple of those landings, if she could have been a little cleaner, I think we would guarantee maybe a big score.
And so Aaliyah Finnegan now will anchor LSU on beam. A huge 9-9 for Haley Bryant, but look at the rest of the scores. At the moment, still dropping Kai Rivers 9-1-7-5 after she fell off of the beam. But the other three sandwiching those, not what you are looking for Jay Clark, and what we would imagine to be almost a sold-out PMAC here in Baton Rouge.
Triple flight series, back handspring, layout, very difficult. She'll get some bonus there.
Assistant coach
Switch leap,
Ashley
split
Matt
jump.
coaches beam and has been working with Aaliyah Finnegan, telling her you just need to slow down, focus on your breathing. That's now the consistent pre-routine message, and it has really worked for Aaliyah. Sometimes a few words here and there, right, Ashley?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, every athlete's different. Most of the time they have keywords throughout the entire routine that you could even just take a piece of paper and write them down. Breathe, up, tight, spot, whatever that may be. But whatever Ashley Nadd is doing is clearly working for this anchor. Just the dismount. Nails the landing. That's what LSU needed to close out that beam rotation to make up some of that ground. Good reaction from Ashley there. She likes it.
Yeah, Nat loves it, affectionately known as Bugs, an All-American at LSU before her coaching career has now really taken off under Jay Clark, and gets the stick crown at that. So we'll see what LSU finishes up with on beam, and if Mizzouri is able to overtake a 6/10 deficit heading into the third rotation. The season floor debut for Amari Celestine. Second team All-American on floor last year in the postseason.
First time seeing her, and you'll see why she anchors this floor lineup right here. Okay, I love it. Huge full end to open, nice and clean, chest up on the landing, and having fun.
You just saw Aaliyah Finnegan's score flash on beam for LSU, 9.95.
Wow.
So that means a 48.95 rotation score. This is going to be really close, I think, going into the fourth.
That's what we wanted. That's what we like to see.
And frankly,
Good
what we
middle pass.
expected from these two Tiger programs.
Yes. We know a Tiger's going to win tonight.
You can take that one to the bank. No, I guess they could theoretically tie, but chances of that, pretty slim.
Just the last pass for Amari. Ends with a double tuck. Very clean landing. With her being sick, they were a little concerned about maybe her endurance on this event. She put that to bed. Good anchor
Absolutely
routine.
stepped up.
So great to have her back in these lineups on the three events. This is that first pass, huge height, full twisting double back. She does the full in the back out on the second.
LSU to the fourth rotation, and they will be on floor. If it comes down to the final routine, it's in the hands of Haley Bryant. Coming up next. Sunday, 8 Eastern on ESPN. This is the big one of the weekend. 15 national titles combined between Utah and OU.
Yeah, premier programs, lots of history there. it's a premier matchup in college gymnastics this season. It'll be a fun one.
Haley Bryant will try to win the all-around when we come back with the 4th rotation. Her Tigers are going to be on floor. Mizzouri to their best event on beam. Still anyone's meet in Baton Rouge. We have already seen one perfect 10. Haley Bryant on vault for LSU. Absolutely threw it down. Ashley, this was certainly the highlight of this meet. LSU still leading. It's by 2 3/4 tenths, but that has been cut down from 6/10. This is going to be tight down the stretch. We knew it would be coming in. You would imagine that Mizzouri can take advantage if they can put up a huge beam routine like they're capable of.
Yeah, this is what we live for, close in the final rotation. LSU needs to make sure that they close out at home on floor, take advantage, get clean landings. In Mizzouri, they've always got a chance because they're so good on beam. You're going to see a unique lineup full of big skills, and it's going to be exciting, I think, going down to the wire. So Mizzouri just needs to settle in and do this.
Helen Hu and Sienna Schreiber anchoring off that rotation. A 49.45 average on beam this season, which ties them for 3rd in the country. And for Mizzouri on beam, they've already posted a 49.525 this year. That is still the 2nd highest score in the country behind Utah this season. The all-around right now is all Haley Bryant at the moment, but of course that can change. Any mistake can make the big difference. Aaliyah Finnegan, her teammate, is right behind, just a 1/10 and a half. So that competition by itself is also coming down to the wire, just like ours overall. Here is what we will see for Mizzouri on beam. That lineup is really locked in for Casey Jo McPherson, the assistant coach who is in charge of beam for Mizzou, as well as 10th-year head coach Shannon Welker. Addison Lawrence to lead off. We mentioned Hu and Schreiber. You want to stick around just for their routines alone. Lawrence with now, Ashley, a lot of pressure on her shoulders. Knows they need to make up almost 3/10 on Mizzou's best event.
And they can do it. Coach Welker, when we asked him about beam, why they're so good, he said, our beam lineup is stacked. I couldn't have said it better myself. Good combination there. Gets above the 180 split position on the lead. Does the full turn.
There's real competition right now in this beam lineup, which he hasn't really been able to say for a few years as he builds this program up. They were number 41 in the rankings when he took over, finished last year at number 5.
Yep. Whenever you can say that you have competition on the balance beam, in practice, folks fighting to get into this lineup, it's one of those events. Beam wins championships. If you have a beam team at the start of the season that can maintain and hit, you're halfway there if all the other pieces fall into place.
Remember, the lowest score for each team can be dropped. Only the highest 5 will count, and Mizzouri trying to make up a .275 differential.
Veteran move there on that front aerial. She was a little off, but she just walked out of it and kind of covered it up with dance. Very smart. Nice lead off. She got the landing. That's a good start for Mizzouri. That is what they need to do to have a chance.
It's Addison's best event too, 9.85 for her in her first 2 collegiate beam routines. Here's where LSU really shines, though, on floor. Coming off of a 49.45 on Monday, Sierra Ballard is about to electrify the PMAC with her leadoff routine. And that type of energy will continue all the way down to the anchor, Haley Bryant.
Sierra's got one of the most explosive, electric, high-flying leadoff routines in a lineup. Says that she's really worked very hard and embraced Courtney's coaching on the floor, and her double layout is bigger and better than it's ever been. We'll see right here. Look at that. Bam. Clean landing, chest up, good position in the air. She really just shows that off.
That's how you set the tone. A 9-9 in the leadoff spot on Monday against Oklahoma.
Yeah, when your leadoff routine has the ability to score 9-9 or better just about every time like she does if she's clean, that's strong. 1.5 twist front layout, stack jump out of it. Big smile at the end.
And Sierra is really embracing her role this year as the leadoff, setting the tone on floor. She only featured twice in this event last season and just taking advantage of the opportunity that's been given to her.
That is what it's all about. These athletes work very, very hard. And it's fun out there. It's fun to get out in front of the home crowd, even on the road, and compete. So that's what you like to see. Iron sharpens iron. You'll hear Jay say that all the time. Big double pike to end. Big smile. Good landing. This is going to be a big score to start them off.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What a crucial beginning of floor for LSU.
Score on balance.
This is the final pass, double pike. Good position in the air. She's almost in an open position. You know, no question whether her chest was up on that.
The questions have been erased whether or not beam would affect LSU as they head to floor. Well, we certainly saw that with Sierra's floor routine. Sydney Schaefer, 9.75 in her first beam routine of the year, last time out against Georgia.
She'll definitely want to improve on that number. Gets the full turn out of the way right in the beginning of this routine. I like that.
Addison Lawrence's first beam routine was a 9.75. You would think Mizzouri would hope to drop that.
Yeah. They're going to need to do a little bit better than that.
Yeah, to beat LSU in the final rotation, absolutely, and a big balance check there.
Yep, very big. She had a break at the hips, almost touched the balance beam with her hands, so that'll be a pretty sizable deduction. They can probably take up to 2.5 to 3/10 on that.
And that would mean they would potentially have to already count the 9.75 from Addison Lawrence.
Yeah.
And remember, need to make up 2 3/4 tenths here in this final rotation against LSU.
And the step back on the 1.5 dismount. So not quite what they're going to need to make up that distance. But again, every routine is an opportunity to learn and to get better.
And how close is it coming into the fourth rotation? It's one balance check on beam here and there. It's a low landing. It's a step out on floor. I mean, these tiny moves could potentially add up. And Alona Shenikova with a career-high 9.925 on Monday will try to follow up Sierra Ballard's 9.85 in the leadoff spot.
Good opening pass, a front double twist. Again, the athletes tend to make that pass look so easy, but it's difficult. One and a half front layout, big smile. Jay really said that he's seen her grow this season, just has become more consistent in practice, and that in turn has translated into being more consistent in competition. Switch half to a ring. Doesn't quite get the big ring position that you want to see on that. One and a half to a big split jump. Combination pass, she'll earn some bonus there. First time in the all-around for her.
Tigers.
Good finish, good meet for Alona.
When we are finished in Baton Rouge, we're going to get you out to Auburn, Alabama. Suni Lee and the Tigers taking on Arkansas, the reigning Olympic all-around champion. And not just her, but a whole supporting cast that is one of the best in the country. John Roethlisberger, Bridget Sloan will have the call of that one when we are through in this Tiger Tangle. Grace Ann Davis, a 9.825 last week, building off of a 9.75, and then they're really now looking to drop Sydney Schaefer's 9.575. And just with a deficit coming into this fourth rotation, Mizzouri could not afford any errors, and they have not started being the way they're capable of.
Not at all, and you were talking about just every little bit counts. You see this, the slight balance checks here, the hip bend there, just not really quite as clean, but Grace Ann Davis, she's a dynamic beam worker. That's the way Shannon Welker describes her balance beam work, and I would have to agree. It's like she's tumbling on the floor up there on that 4-inch balance beam. Sheep jump there, head leaves the balance beam, so really have to focus on remaining square and over the balance beam. Oh, another break. And that's going to end up being a bigger deduction. You can see the wheels turning in her head. She's trying to figure out how to go back and what she can do to get that combination. So unfortunate for Mizzouri, some of these mistakes that they're making on this balance beam rotation.
You would think for Mizzou this is going to end up being a learning experience for them. You go back to the third rotation, Ashley, right? When LSU slips up on beam, just a 48.95. Door was left open for them. And the Tigers just couldn't throw down the types of routines that they're capable of on floor. And if they posted a few more 9.9s, maybe a 9.95 in there, it would be a very different story going into this final rotation.
For sure, and you talk about a learning experience, this is it. I mean, you gotta find out how to take advantage. When that door is open, you gotta walk through it. That's how you get to that consistency.
And now Chase Brock can continue to really put some pressure on Mizzouri. Had a 9.15 on Monday in her college floor debut, and she steps out. She fell on her final pass on Monday and just gave it too much mustard. A little bit too much juice.
Yeah, a little too much juice. Took 2 steps and a big out of bounds. Doesn't matter how big out of bounds. It could be a little bit. It's still a 10th off. Double tuck, again, a little bit of a short landing, open that up. Didn't have to be short on that. She was just really going for that landing.
And so this will hamper LSU just a bit as they look to take down Mizzouri for the 17th time against no losses when they take on Mizzou.
Yeah, and this was another shot for, Chase Brock to get out there in this lineup, and, another mistake, but does the last pass to her capability, stays on her feet and inbounds, and nicely this week. So with the loss of Kaya Johnson, they're going to have some depth, right? They're going to have to figure out how to replace those big scores by postseason. See here, she pulls. She just keeps it going, and big out of bounds.
Mizzouri 22 consecutive times out. They have scored a 49 or better. That is certainly in danger at the moment. They can drop the 9.575 from Schaefer, but the 9.6 and the 9.75 from Davis and Lawrence count. Sharametta, Hu, and Schreiber will determine if Mizzouri can, 1, stay in this meet, and 2, that is an incredible streak for Beam if that continues.
Yeah, you really hate to give that away. I hope that they can pull this out. They've got really 3 strong competitors to close it out, and so far, Alyssa looks like she's down to business. Backhand spring layout, very clean. I love the way she works beam, just like floor, just very good position, more of like a classic balletic gymnastics look. Really good lines, and finishes everything through the tips of her fingers to the bottom of her feet and her toes.
And on top of that, Elisa is a 4.0 student in an occupational therapy doctorate program. at the University of Missouri. She doesn't really even get to train with the team. She has to kind of go in and out. Sometimes she'll get there a little bit late, work on her own. But Sharametta does more than enough to excel in this lineup.
Yeah, and as a fifth year, just having that experience is so valuable, for sure. Back gainer tuck full on the end and doesn't give anything away. Fights for that landing. That's going to help them in their quest to break that mark and keep that streak alive.
The 49 is certainly a doubt at this point. So is the meet, with Chase Brock registering just a 9.7 on floor, 9.85 for Ballard, 9.875 for Shenikova. Those will stick. And KJ Johnson, the sophomore out of the Big D, Dallas, 9.775 on Monday. Watch for her first pass, because this is where she stepped out against Oklahoma.
Yeah. And you'll see how and why that could be likely with as much height as she gets. She's a power tumbler, folks. Fought to stay in, Alex. She stayed in.
Yes, she did.
She said, not today.
LSU is already up by almost 3/10 heading into this final floor rotation. Just trying to keep that lead. At the moment, you match the scores up 1-1, and LSU has outscored Missouri every step of the way so far.
Yeah, they really have done their job so far on floor. They've been very clean and just flowing through this lineup. Business as usual on this event for them. Double tuck, last pass, clean landing, good reaction.
AJ for LSU.
Take another look at the first pass and her fighting to stay inbounds here, which she really does a good job. Nice and open. Doesn't grab her legs at all. She can feel that line. Oh. Very, very, very meticulous in keeping that in bounds there. I love it.
As she knew it, you could see the exuberation in her face when she realized that she was on the good side of the white tape. And now you're telling you to follow up Sharametta's 9.85. Who and Schreiber back to back. Excellent.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite routines in college gymnastics, and you'll see why. It's just beautiful. She executes so flawlessly, and she's also one of those athletes on this event. She takes risk in some of the skills that she does. Even her mount, the round off, back handspring, spring down, does the full turn with the leg extended all the way up. Just beautiful gymnastics.
It's one reason that we love to watch Helen Hu compete on beam so much. There's another. She didn't need to do a Lucan, but why not throw it in there if she's capable?
I mean, and like, let's just show it off some more, right? You saw her average, right? Like above a 9.9, and here's why. Feet jump, split 3/4, just flows through this routine. And it's kind of like, we see that you're flexible, Helen. We know now.
Helen has gone 9.95 and 9.925 on beams so far this season.
And this has all the makings of another one. When she hits, it's 9.9 or better every time. It has to be. Gainer full off the side. Bam. Beautiful beam routine. That's great gymnastics.
And this is how Missouri stays in this competition right here, these final three on beam.
Front aerial, no pauses, bam, bam, Lucan. Just beautiful. I love it.
Ho hum. Aaliyah Finnegan for LSU on floor. And she follows KJ Johnson's 9.925. A massive score for the Tigers to try to cement this win over Mizzouri.
And when
They
they
have
walk onto
never
the floor,
lost to them inside this building. So there was history on the line, but it certainly appears like LSU is going to move to 17-0 against the Tigers here in Baton Rouge.
huge opening pass, Arabian double front, and usually she nails that. It's an E-level skill. She can stick that. She was going for the landing, opened up a little bit early and sat it down. So unfortunately, going to be a fall, going to be a score they're going to want to drop.
And so the 9-7 for Chase Brock is about to count. Luckily for the Tigers, they still have Haley Bryant to go.
2.5 twist, punch front. I mean, that's risk, taking risks to do those difficult skills, and that's why this is a routine that's towards the tail end of the lineup. It can score really big if she hits everything.
Finnegan was trailing Haley Bryant by just 1/10.5 coming into this final rotation for the all-around. That's certainly going to take a big hit, those chances. And if Bryant can hit it, it's going to be all hers. Sienna Schreiber will finish things out right after this on beam for Mizzouri.
I'm going to have twist front layout. Unfortunate for the miss on the first pass.
And so one more competitor for LSU. This is the final one for Mizzouri. Sienna Schreiber tied for third in beam in the entire country. A 9.925 last week. In the anchor spot, she started her season with a 9.95. At the moment, Schaefer's 9.575 can be dropped. And then we wait and see what happens with the LSU scores. Helen Hu posted a 9.925. That is the highest score at the moment on beam for Mizzouri. And let's enjoy this final routine of the night for Mizzou.
Yeah, and Joy is right for her routine. The way she works beam, I just love it because she seems like she's so comfortable in this anchor position. She does difficult gymnastics, and her facial expressions throughout this routine, it's sometimes, I think last year she used to sing during her balance beam routine. It's the craziest thing, but it works for her. Bam, layout, layout.
Schreiber needs a 9.875 for that 49-0 beam streak to continue. It's been 22 straight in competitions for Mizzouri.
Switch leap path. Boy, they would love to keep that going. So far, so good. Beat jump. Oh. Split 3/4. I don't know. Beat jump, just the dismount. Gainer full. I don't think that's going to get it done.
Didn't give away anything on the dismount. And Schreiber, it's going to be close.
Good series, layout, layout, nice and clean, perfect. That's what we're used to seeing from her. You know, any given night, it just can be just a little off. And
now let's just sit back and enjoy Haley Bryant. Trying to secure the all-around. Finish off the meet in style for LSU. She has won every single all-around that LSU has competed in this year.
I love the way that she was announced coming onto the floor. They said, your anchor, Haley Bryant. Classic, I love it. Lots of front tumbling from Haley as well. Front layout, 1.5, clean landings, well executed. She's just out there having fun. She's done this, she's put in the repetitions. She's just gonna enjoy.
And also a 9.9 or better would get her to 39.7 for the all-around, which would be a new season high. She's continued to reset that as the year has gone on. Here's Missouri's final beam score, 9.825, so it's not that 9.875 that the Tigers so sorely needed. They are not going to pull the upset here in Baton Rouge against LSU. Too many mistakes on beam. Not something you expect. And LSU closing out floor.
Ends with a front double twist. That's that pass that I said was really difficult in the beginning. She does it at the end. And what a night for Haley Bryant. She just was on fire. On fire.
Haley Bryant, ladies.
You knew that LSU needed somebody to fill the void of Kaya Johnson. You can't fully replace her. Haley Bryant doing her best, though, to keep the Tigers relevant nationally. We certainly know they are. We will come back and wrap this thing up when we return on SEC Network. Bryant, the all-around winner. Perfect 10 to start off her night.
Good gymnastics from Haley. That's what you want to see. She's their leader, and she stepped up and showed what she can do tonight.
Capping it off on floor with a 9-9, a 39-7, which is her new season high in the all-around. And a terrific meet for LSU. They get into the 197s for the first time this year. 197-1, and from Mizzouri, a 196-525 on the road for Shannon Welker's crew. That will do it for us here in Baton Rouge with Ashley Miles Green. I'm Alex Perlman saying so long. Let's get you to our second half of our Friday night Heights doubleheader. SUNY Lee and Auburn hosting Arkansas. John Roethlisberger, Bridget Sloan, all yours.